Welcome to the Wellness for Women show, where we talk about life, weight loss and everything in between. I'm Faye Caseman, founder of the AAA Way Life and Weight Loss Programme, and I'm here to help you put together the pieces of life and weight loss for one last time. This is an episode of the Wellness for Women show, filmed live in the free Facebook group. Welcome. So that is awesome. Right, I think we are connected. Oh, my days. I will get there. Okay, so, right, giving everybody a minute or so to come in. So, yeah, if you are watching, let me know if you're watching #live or #replay. As we are going through, I want this to be as interactive as possible. Don't want you falling asleep on me. It is like 8:30ish at night. So if you hear something that resonates with you, make sure that you hit the like button, the heart button, whatever button you can find, just whack it. Make sure you're leaving comments, asking questions. You know, at the end of the day, I'm doing these sessions for everybody who's able to watch it. So make sure you take full part in it, basically. Make the most of this and make the most of my time. So fantastic. We've got a few people in watching. Hey, hello. Hi there. Yep, perfect. Great. Okay, so it's clearly working there or thereabouts. So what am I covering tonight? So I am covering balancing act, tips for a well-balanced life. So let me know in the chat, drop me if you find it hard to juggle all the different aspects of your lives at the moment. Yeah. Hey Laura, hey Lisa, hey April, hey Karen. So yeah, let me know in the chat, leave me a me if that's you. You know, maybe you feel like you're not doing any one of your life areas justice right now. But you know, giving them the time that they deserve. Do you find yourself saying that you don't have time for this or that, but then wonder if that's really true? Or are you just perhaps not making time for the things that are important for you? Challenging question to start off with. And if you are, then also, and if you're also trying to work on weight loss as well and or your overall well-being, that sometimes just adds something extra into the mix. Am I right? Give me a hell yeah in the chat if that's so. So it certainly adds an extra dimension sometimes. So getting an always there, yeah. So this is actually a really perfect topic for me to cover. So I was really pleased when this topic came up, top trumps in the poll that I put in the group. The next one was stress. So I'll be looking to cover that one next week. So yeah, I've got somebody here saying trying hard to make it time for myself in 2022. Yes, quite a novel experience. And I think that's the thing. I think that is a common experience for many people, which we'll come on to in a moment. So for those who don't know me, I am Faye Caseman, creator of the AAA Way Weight Loss Programme, where I help women lose weight for good by ditching traditional diet methods. And I do this by teaching my AAA women how they can craft their own unique and joyful weight loss journey through a combination of intuitive style eating and life coaching. So why is this topic perfect for me? Well, because I am obsessed with how life and weight loss go together. Life, weight loss, well-being, wellness, all go together to me like a jigsaw. The jigsaw is my company logo, so it's on my stationery. You'll see it peppered in the pictures. I'm totally obsessed, ultimately, with how it all fits together. And in the AAA Way membership and in previous lives, if you've caught them, I talk about the metaphorical life jigsaw. You know, your life is ultimately made up of lots of little pieces like a jigsaw. And so when it comes to life balance, you've got family, you've got friends, you've got work, you've got health and fitness, you've got fun, you've got relaxation, personal development and growth, you know, all of these kind of things that you might want to be doing. And they all need to fit together somehow for you to feel like you're living a happy and well-rounded life. The problem I tend to see for those working on weight loss especially is that most women try and fix their weight loss or well-being issues by making changes in just one area of their life. So usually there's a focus on the diet or diet and exercise at most, and then unfortunately wonder why it doesn't work long term. So just like you can't fit the proverbial square peg in the round hole, you can't lose weight or get fit by making changes in just one life area. You need to look at the whole picture. Somebody's saying, ooh, stationery. Yeah, ooh, stationery. Who doesn't love a bit of stationery? I know that I'm not alone. We also have discussions on that in the membership as well, especially a good journal or diaries and notebooks. Absolutely lovely. And I'll just show you this. Actually, I got this very nice notebook from my daughter. She went to hit up TK Maxx deliberately for Mother's Day, and she also got me a Mindful Days, 365 days of Mindful Days calendar. So I am surrounded by stationery. Love a bit of stationery. Okay, I digress. So ultimately, like I say, you need to ideally look at your whole picture, your whole life picture. Hey, Kelly. So I'm sure you've experienced this before. You go on a diet, you're doing really well, you're eating all the right foods, you're exercising regularly, and you're seeing results. But then something happens. Life gets in the way, work gets busy, the kids are home from school, and maybe they're sick, you've got to go away for the weekend, and before you know it, you've fallen off that proverbial wagon. And the reason that this happens is that potentially happens is because you've only been focused on the diet. You haven't factored in how that fits together with life. And so when something happens and it takes you out of this routine, it can throw you off balance, and you can end up back at square one if you're not careful. So, but what we're here to talk about today is the fact that it can just generally seem hard to find a balance in life. And like I say, weight loss is just a part of that. It's just a dimension of that. You are more than just your weight loss journey at the end of the day. And so on the one hand, you from a work-life balance point of view, you might want to be super duper productive and be achieving your goals. But then on the other hand, you don't want to overwork yourself, and you don't want to end up stressed out and unhappy. We've had quite a few discussions in the membership about how the fact that we often as human beings, we will hold conflicting beliefs. So we have a tendency to want conflicting things. So again, you might want weight loss, but then perhaps not so keen on taking some of the action steps you need to in order to get there. And I say you want success at work, but you don't necessarily want to be, working all hours, So, but this can lead to flip-flopping, as one of my members calls it. So where you feel like you're doing all of the work, but you're never really getting anywhere as you flip-flop about between different things. So moving on, how are you going to look to try and achieve some balance in your life? Well, we're going to use my 3 A's, which are the guiding fundamentals that I teach my AAA women. And those are awareness, action, and accountability. And there are many ways ultimately that you can approach each of them, but I'm going to offer you one route today. If you'd like to join the membership, of course, then obviously we can deep dive this to our heart's content. I've got tons of tools in there, so you can always drop me a message if you want to know more on that. So gathering awareness, how can you do this for life balance? So what we're going to do is, first up, we're going to define what a well-balanced life means to you. So like with all things in life and weight loss, you've been building up a set of beliefs over the years, ultimately. So let me know in the chat, do you have a clear picture in your head what you think your life balance should look like? That's what I'd like to know. So do you have a clear picture in your head as to what you think you would like balance to look like? And when you've had a chance to think about that in terms of what you think it should look like, I want you to ask yourself if that's really what you want balance to look like for you, or whether it's just what you think balance should look like. So sometimes it can be more like a wish list, especially when the poop hits the fan, and we start thinking that things are different. I wish that I did this. I wish that I could do that. So, for example, I used to believe that in order to have a well-balanced life, I had to have a successful career, I had to be married with kids and have a nice house. And while there was nothing wrong with any of those things, that isn't what balance looks like for me now, ultimately. Right now, a well-balanced life for me would be one where I have time for all the things that are important to me. So that would be my daughter, my business, my health and fitness, my family and friends, and my personal development. So I say, tell me in the chat, as you're going along, answer the questions. What are the things that are important to you? What is important to you for your balance? So yeah, I've got some coming through now because there's always a little bit of a delay. So yeah, making time for yourself, family, friends, and work. So if I keep looking down, by the way, sorry, I've got to look on my phone to see the comments easily. Yeah, again, but it's important to identify. I think that's the thing. It's important to identify what is important, what is really important to you. And one of the ways that you can do that is you can use a tool called the Wheel of Life. So if you want to snag a free resource today, all you need to do is leave me a #wheel and I will send you a link where you can download my Wheel of Life resource. It's a workbook that will run you through how to do this exercise. It's ultimately a way for you to check in with where you're currently at, and then you can pictorially you can then show how balanced things are. So like I say, leave me a #wheel and I will shoot you the link to my version of it from the membership. And I'll also be popping in there some journal prompts and coaching style questions that you can ask yourself to define what balance actually means for you. And all I ask in return is that you let me know how you get on with it, because I'd really like to know how you get on. And that can involve posting in the group if you feel comfortable doing so, or shoot me a message. The key thing really here is that I want you to step into action. So it's all right signing up for it, but make sure you do it. At the end of the day, carve out a tiny bit of time, get some clarity for yourself. That's the aim of this, and then you can step into action from there. And so, like I say, the guide will help you with that. So let the cat out the bag again. That the next step really is so it's action. So who's ready for some action? And so your next step is to set some realistic goals and to make a plan to achieve your balance. So you'll have so when you've done the Wheel of Life exercise, I don't know if anybody's ever done one. Again, let me know in the chat if you've done one before. You probably will have seen one. I'm sure that you will have seen one, but you may not have done one, or you may not have done one with a coach. But it basically, you score yourself 1 to 10 in each of the life areas, and then you look at where you would ideally like to be, and that's where you see your gaps, and so that's where you gather that awareness. And then once you've identified what your gaps are, you can identify what it is that you want to work on. And that's when you come into setting up these realistic goals and making a plan to achieve them. Okay. So when you have a lot on your plate, it's important to take that step back and figure out what is the most important thing for you. What are your top priorities? And once you know what they are, you can then focus your energy on achieving them. Again, the Wheel of Life will help you to do this. It gives you this idea, like I said, of where you currently are at in all of your life areas. And then the aim is to set some process goals depending on what it is that you want to work on and what it is that you want to give your attention to. And then you might want to come back and obviously revisit this live if you want to. Also, as well, just a heads up, I've got one on goal setting and I've got one on stepping into action. So if you want either of those video links, let me know. So that was one on goal setting and one on stepping into action. They would fit lovely with this Wheel of Life that I'm sending you through. Ultimately as well, another good set of questions that you can ask yourself is, what do I want to keep? What can I let go of? What could I give to somebody else? So there's various tools in which you can look at these kind of things. So there's something called an Eisenhower matrix you could do. You can also do various exercises on the amount of hours that you've actually got in your week. That's a really interesting exercise. Certainly if you're somebody who has a tendency to say, I do not have enough time, often it turns out possibly not to be as true as we think. It's just something that we say, but we believe it because we've said it so much over our lives. But you don't have to go that deep into it. And certainly for today, we're just talking top level stuff. Like I say, if you wanted to work on it deeper, you need to really look at sort of getting into coaching and that kind of thing. But just have a little think to yourself, how could I level up my day today? That's all you're looking to do. You're just trying to find tiny little bit of extra space for whatever it is that you're working on. So, for example, if you are working on your health and that's not quite where it wants to be at the moment, one of your goals might be, well, I'll just park a little bit further away in the car park, or I'll aim to go for a little walk daily, or I'll try to level up my breakfast by playing around with the quantity or quality. It's not that you have to do big, massive gestures, and in fact I would advocate not doing that. Make these things so simple that you can keep doing them the rest of your life. Maybe it is that you're not seeing enough of your family, so how can you make that happen? How could you find an extra 5 minutes with somebody, maybe a call on a commute, or send them a gift? It doesn't necessarily have to be that big. Again, our brains, I think, make out, I don't see enough of my family, I need to suddenly go over and spend hours with them, or we need to go out, we need to do this, we need to do that. Whereas actually that they're just rules that you're setting for yourself. And so just check in and make sure you decide what's true or not true. So I say key is keep it super duper simple, and that way you will gather momentum, which we talked about a little bit last week. And you'll also, if you are somebody who's got quite a bit on your plate, make sure that you are looking to build in activities that will help you to relax and recharge. You can't fill from an empty cup at the end of the day, and sometimes you actually have to slow down in order to speed up. So choose activities that you enjoy, that make you feel good, because ultimately when you take care of yourself, it's then easier to manage stress, have more energy in order to achieve the goals and work on getting that balance, because it is something that does take it requires action steps. It's not something that's just going to happen ultimately. And then we're going to move into the last bit, which is having, let me make sure I click the button, there we go. Having patience with yourself, asking for help, and being accountable. So again, no major surprises here. If you because, and again, it's all common sense, but I think sometimes we do think that, like I said a minute ago, that we just think that it happens, or it should happen, effortlessly, and that if it's not effortless, we are doing it wrong. But that potentially is just the old perfectionist dragon coming to visit. Even when you're trying to create a balance, you are likely to be shoulding all over yourself somewhere. I should be doing this, I should be doing that. And again, we'll talk about a lot of things in the membership, but we were talking about one of these things recently, and we were talking about the fact that there is a temptation to strive for the perfect or idyllic morning routine. Maybe you feel that you should be able to, just wake up with the joys of spring, meditate, do some journaling, do some self-care, bit of yoga, and then go happily into your day with the birds singing and they're coming down, just like in Snow White. Now, these are all great practices, and if they bring you joy and balance and you can fit them into your life with ease or with slight adjustments, and that's what you want to work on, that's absolutely great. But sometimes trying to find that balance and having that ideal situation of what it is that you think you should be doing can then actually put on extra pressure. And it's recognizing that and deciding where you go from there. So maybe you can't do what you used to do as your circumstances have changed, like a new job, a new baby, or a new pet. Maybe you could, but your energy is a bit lower because it's winter and it's cold. So these are just a few things that can crop up and sabotage you when you're trying to find balance. So again, I know that's what happened with me, basically. So certainly last year, summertime, I was waking up, I was doing walks, I was yogaing, I was doing journaling, never really quite got into the meditation thing, but my ideal morning was pretty much as I described a moment ago. Whereas when winter hit, I struggled with that. I was opening my eyes every morning and saying how cold and dark it is. I didn't want to go out and do the walks, and I didn't feel like I'd got the energy for yoga. And what I could do is I could sit and beat myself up about it, or I can learn about it and I can work with those parameters and then try and stretch myself realistically to what I've got going on at any given time. Obviously, looking to run a business now, that adds an extra dimension to my life that I didn't have. And so you have to find a way to fit those things together, and it takes a little bit of time. But knowing that is okay, and that sometimes you need a little bit of help and support in order to get that done, is where the accountability comes in. It's knowing thyself. And it's also okay to ask for help. Sometimes we don't like to ask for help, whether we have a history of people pleasing, or again shoulding all over ourselves and thinking that we should be doing these things, or I should be able to do all of these things. That ultimately is a whole topic in itself, and maybe I will do something about that, whether that be people pleasing, boundary setting, I say knowing yourself a bit more. But I know I've certainly been guilty of that in the past. I've not asked for help. I've sort of sat there, probably quite grudgingly, thinking that somebody should be helping me, and expecting somebody to do something, whereas actually I never actually asked for it in the first place. So sometimes you get what you expect. And also, but I didn't want to ask for help because at the time I viewed that as being a weakness, and also I was a little bit of a people pleaser, and I thought that I should be able to do it all. So make sure that you find ways to gather the awareness about how these things show up for you, and hold yourself accountable to what it is that actually goes on for you, and what it is that you want to achieve, and how you're going to achieve that. But also work on your self-acceptance to know that it's okay to not get it right sometimes. So, quick recap. Finding balance in life can be a challenge, but it's important to take time to figure it out. Figure out what's most important to you. With a little planning and a little bit of effort, you can achieve your goals and find the peace of mind that you're looking for. So I hope this gives you a few ideas as to how you could start to find some more balance. Don't forget to leave me a #wheel, and I will send you the life wheel exercise and prompts. Next week, I'm going to cover off stress. As I said, that was something that was again, it was only one person difference in it, so I'll cover off stress and tips for stress next week, because ultimately all of these life areas impact into your general wellness, weight loss, etc., all overall. And just remember that the AAA Way membership is open for you to join. You don't have to battle through life and or weight loss alone. I can teach you, coach you, and mentor you through it all for lasting change at the end of the day. So just drop me a message. We can have a little chat, no obligation, and we could always book in for a Zoom call. And it'd just be great to have a catch up with you anyway. So let me know if that is of interest to you, and if you're really ready to deep dive this and take your weight loss to the next level. And other than that, I will happily leave you here for the evening. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you all next week. See you later. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, if you want to boost your life and weight loss the AAA way, check out the relevant links for today's show in the description. Speak soon.